What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. I know I am running extra late. 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I went to my church today, and the reason why I'm late, I'm gonna let you know the excuse, not that you even care. But I went to my church earlier today because I'm gonna do a connect group with my local church, and I'm really excited about it. So that's the reason why I'm late. And so please forgive me. Please forgive me. All right. The military. The military. President Trump is wanting to do a parade that's going to celebrate the military, the greatness of our military. Why would we not want to do this? To me, this is something that we should do because it shows the world that we are a strong military, that we are a strong country, and that in President Trump doing this, ultimately what it comes down to is President Trump saying that he respects the U.S. military, the men and women who serve in the military, and he wants to show his appreciation to the military by doing this parade. Be honest with you, Shannon, do you ever recall a military parade? I don't since I've been alive and been paying attention to this. My father served in the military, and I don't ever recall a military parade.
I mean,
I guess you have air shows and stuff
yeah,
like
we do
that.
have air shows. I don't
But
know.
a military parade, probably with airplanes on vehicles, airplanes flying over, um, tanks going up and down the street, the soldiers marching. I've never I've never seen that. Not in America. I've seen other nations do it, but I've never seen America do it. My question is why is it a problem? Why is it a problem that we have a military parade? And of course, the Democrats, they're upset because President Trump is doing this. And the main reason why they're upset President Trump is doing this is because it makes President Trump look like he cares about the military. The Democrats don't want President Trump to look like he cares about the military. The Democrats will do everything they can to try to reverse that because they want the United States of America to look weak. They want the United States of America to look like they don't, like President Trump doesn't even care for them. This is what they want. And their excuse is like, oh my goodness, this is a waste of money. So, for all of you that are in the military, and for all of you that have someone serving in the military, this should be another nail in the coffin for the Democrats that they do not care about you, your family in the military. They don't care about America. They do not care about America. Well, of course, President Trump has a conversation with one of the whack liberals on the left. And I don't know why President Trump keeps giving her is almost like unfettered access to him because I would love to interview President Trump. I would love to, but she keeps getting access to President Trump and she keeps pushing back on the positive things that President Trump is doing. Now, I'm not saying President Trump shouldn't talk to her, shouldn't do interviews, but how many interviews has she received versus those of us that respect President Trump, that love this country? Y'all get my point here. But nonetheless, I think President Trump, look, just to be clear, I think maybe President Trump is, because see, I like talking to liberals too. I really do. I go to the Tesla events, hoping to have a conversation with these liberals. So I get it, the reason why President Trump wants to talk to him. But I don't mind talking to conservatives either. Not to say that President Trump doesn't. But anyways, listen to President Trump and her have this discussion about the military parade. And President Trump is wanting to do this, and they don't.
We're going to have a big, beautiful parade.
A military parade?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We're going to celebrate our military.
What's
We have the greatest
what's
military
the price
in the world.
tag? Do you
People,
You hear that? What's the price tag? What's the price tag?
peanuts compared to the value of doing it. We have the greatest missiles in the world. We have the greatest submarines in the world. We have the greatest army tanks in the world. We have the greatest weapons in the world. And we're going to celebrate it.
And we're going to celebrate it. What's wrong with celebrating? I really like to know the answer to that. I want to see it because I've never experienced a military parade. And depending on what city it's in, I don't know. I don't know that he'll do it in Washington, D.C. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. But maybe, depending on where he has it, if it's somewhere close, I'm going to drive to go see it because I want to be there firsthand to see it. I really do. But nonetheless, it's going to be televised. It's going to be, and all the radical liberals, as they complain about it, they're going to televise it and they're going to say, this is such a waste of money. Why do we have to continue to see this? President Trump is saying America first. This is what President Trump is saying. He's straight up saying America first. And these Democrats, they cannot stand it. They cannot stand it. They're like, oh my goodness, it's going to be a waste of money. It's going to be a waste of money. Well, listen to this one. Of course, this is on MSDNC. And MSDNC, of course, they have nothing nice to say about President Trump. Never, ever, 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 ever. And when it comes to the military, just like I mentioned a second ago, the Democrats, they don't respect the military. They want to dismantle the military. Or if the military is going to be there, they want the military to be woke. They want the military to be woke, completely woke, meaning the support of everything that is considered evil. Everything that is considered evil, that's what they want. Men putting on military dresses. This is what they want. Well, listen to them on MSDNC talk about President Trump, of course, wanting to do a parade. And why not? This is great. I love the idea.
Ruth, you mentioned before the assault on child welfare programs, gutting the lead poisoning monitoring system, for example, at the CDC, defunding school lunches, things like that. In other countries that have experienced this kind of democratic backsliding or full-on transition to authoritarianism, have we...
Oh, hold up. Wait a minute. So now, did I hear that correctly, Shannon? Did she actually just sit there and say that because President Trump wants to have a parade, it's like authoritarianism? Is that what she's referring to?
That's exactly what she's alluding
She's
to.
actually saying because President Trump wants to show his respect for our country and have a military parade, that it's authoritarianism? How so?
That's exactly what all of them are pushing here, Will. They're all saying that, oh my goodness, this is so arrogant of him to do this. He's just trying to show what a crazy, how this is all about him. This isn't about America. This is a show of strength of him to the rest of the world. They make this look like this is like some narcissistic move. Right?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. How dare he? How dare he want to show his appreciation to this country? He is the president of these United States. If he wants to have a big, beautiful parade and show how much he respects his country, then by all means, have the parade. Let's go back to this. Oh my goodness. I only got it a couple of seconds. I'm gonna take it back so we can listen to it, and I'll try not to stop it this time.
Ruth, you mentioned before the assault on child welfare programs, gutting the lead poisoning monitoring system, for example, at the CDC, defunding school lunches, things like that. In other countries that have experienced this kind of democratic backsliding or full-on transition to authoritarianism, have we similarly seen a rollback of the safety net, maybe to spend more money on propaganda like military parades?
Oh my goodness. Hold on. Hold up. Propaganda military parade? What? See, you know what? The Democrats, they don't have nothing to talk about. There's no policies that they're wanting to implement to help out and benefit the American people. So when President Trump does something, they come out to try to push against it, try to find some kind of way to talk about it in a negative content. There's nothing they have. Does this make sense? See, President Trump is doing positive things in the country. President Trump is doing things showing his appreciation for the military. And all they can say is this propaganda, this is authoritarian. Make it make sense, please.
Honestly, the speed at which this is happening and the kind of concentrated push to do this, it doesn't have any parallel in situations where leaders came to power through elections. If you look at the early Putin or the early Orban or Erdogan, they didn't move at this speed. This resembles more after there's been a coup.
You know, for me, I look at this and I hear them talking and saying this stuff and talking about this is a coup. Where's the coup at? I mean, really, President Trump is doing a coup. I mean, he's in the White House. President Trump has never attempted to do a coup, never. But nonetheless, they're saying this.
And the other thing that's interesting, I was thinking about this the other day. Eventually, regimes make science and medicine bow to their ideology. So the communists would, use psychiatrists to say that dissidents or journalists who didn't agree with the regime had to go to psychiatric hospitals. But to do this so quickly, to have a war on science, on welfare, on knowledge of every kind, so immediately, and to have somebody like RFK, K Jr. there, that's very unusual, and even in the history of autocracy.
Jasmine, we've and I heard Ruth mention the word. She used the word regime in describing.
Man,
they're calling Trump a regime now. They're not even saying the president of the United States.
I kind of wish we had more of that. I want to say a regime.
Me too. It's like, how do you respond to that? Because that's irresponsible.
They're making up nonsense.
It's so irresponsible to say that this is a regime.
They're
President
making
Trump,
up stuff.
Listen, Trump said there's a benefit to having this parade, right?
Right.
There's 100% of benefit. He wants people to get excited about our country. Again, wasn't that one of his goals, Will, as president? He said he wants to make America great again. And part of making America great again is to have these young people proud of the country that they've come from.
You know what? That's exactly what you're hitting the nail on the head. President Trump is wanting to do a military parade to get people to be proud of the military, get people to be proud of the country. Can you imagine this military parade will become a ad spot for the military? Join the Air Force, join the Marines, join the Navy, join the Army, join SpaceX.
Yep.
This is going to become an ad, a big, beautiful ad, actually. See, President Trump, he knows what he's doing. See, I guarantee none of them have thought about this. They just don't like the fact that President Trump is saying yes to America. They don't like the fact that President Trump is saying America first.
And you know what, Will? It's not like he's doing it for no reason. It's literally to celebrate 250 years of our military.
250 years.
I mean, there's a purpose for this, right?
Yeah.
If there's any time we celebrate 4th of July every year, do they complain about that?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. They actually do. They actually do. These radical liberals, they complain about it because you have radical liberals. I forget who it was. She was saying, I just get so offended and so triggered when I see all of these American flags flying around. You remember that? I'm like, on 4th of July, upset because she's seen American flags. Well, get out of America. That's the solution. Well, here's some more of the radical liberals talking about this military parade. And you know what? Before we came on here, I was thinking, like, how am I going to have enough? I could talk all day about the military. I can talk about my experience being a military brat. My father's in the military. I had my uncles were in the military. I could talk about all that, but I didn't realize. Well, I did kind of realize, because President Trump is doing something positive, and Democrats, as soon as President Trump does something positive, they got to get out in front of it to try to say this is bad. This is bad. It's bad that they don't love this country. It's bad that they don't respect the military. That's the part that's bad.
There is this plan for the military/birthday parade. I'm curious, how do you think reporters should cover this? Are we just going to be standing there walking alongside the parade like business as usual? What are you going to do? And what do you think our industry should do to handle this and contextualize it in the most appropriate way?
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a fantastic question. I'm sure that is a discussion happening across newsrooms in the country. I think first and foremost, everything with this administration, the reality is that context is king, right? You want to report on what is happening in the moment, but you also want to report on everything that surrounds it, understanding its place in society, understanding where it's coming from, understanding whether or not Donald Trump is, how truthful he's being about certain things. Obviously, the military parade is something that Donald Trump has been talking about since the campaign trail. There are other countries that Trump visited when he stepped one foot inside of North Korea that also has things like military parades, right? So we kind of see the genesis of maybe where he's getting some of these ideas. But I think for our purposes as journalists, we have to do what we're doing day in and day out, which is speak truth without fear or favor of what this administration could do. And that's honestly telling people that, it's not going to be free, that it's going to cost potentially $45 million is what estimates have said, that it would fall on different units inside of the Army, including the Navy, all those things like that, potentially taking away from money that's used for training. And just really all about how this military parade not just came to be, but its effect in the country and whether or not, it's something that Americans want to see on their streets.
This is exactly what Americans want to see on their streets. This is exactly what we want to see. And
we should talk about
he
training.
did talk about this during the campaign trail. And I was thinking to myself, wow, a military parade? I've never seen one in America. I'm telling you. And I'm not saying that there hasn't been any. Maybe there have been some smaller ones, but I've never known for Bush to do a military parade. I never known did Ronald Reagan do a military parade? I was really a young kid at that point. If he did one, I'm not aware. Did Bill Clinton? No, I don't recall Bill Clinton doing one. Obama?
Once
most
again,
definitely not.
There's a purpose for this. It's 250 years.
And it's a birthday, right?
It's an anniversary.
And so I guess the question is how should we as American people celebrate 250 years of our birthday? How should we do it? See, the Democrats, you know how they would like it? They would like to see you run up and down the street half dressed, being real provocative, showing some skin that shouldn't be shown, throwing stuff at little children and stuff like that. And they would be completely fine with that. If that was the type of parade that President Trump would be pushing, they would, oh my goodness, it's so loving.
I mean, they were okay with
wonderful.
Yeah, they were okay with spending money on Pride at the White House. You don't think that was a waste of money?
But that's my point.
You don't think that spending
if it's a
money
parade based on people flaunting themselves all out in the street, exposing themselves, if it's a parade like that with the military even, they would be all about it.
I mean, I think there's a whole bunch of Americans that would say that spending money on illegals and giving them our Social Security and other money, now that was a waste of money. And we're talking about trillions of dollars.
Yeah, trillions of dollars. Well, how much was
They're
it in
okay
New York?
with that.
Billions of dollars, and they were complaining, and the New York was saying, hey, we need government assistance.
And look at all the money that we spent on wokeism in the military, which literally has ruined our military, taking it to record lows. They didn't care about spending that money, talk about money on training.
No, and they're not going to. They're not going to. And then you had, just made me think about Pete Hegseth. They were trying to say Pete Hegseth was trying to remove the Tuskegee Airmen, and which completely was false. He wasn't trying to remove it at all. Someone put that information out there to try to get it look like he's racist. Not even factual at all. Well, I have another one for you, and this one has Scott Jennings in it. And Scott Jennings and them on the panel, of course, are having this discussion about the military parade. And there's nothing wrong. And look at Scott Jennings' expression on his face right now. It gets that a lot. I see him doing this a lot when he's looking at these liberals. Because like, do you even realize what you're saying? And they're just out there saying stuff. And hopefully, put it like this. When the Democrats say stuff, they're hoping it's like a puzzle that would by chance fit. And the puzzle pieces don't fit. But they're talking, trying to make it look like, oh yeah, this will go like this. And it doesn't fit.
The things that animate him about what he really gets excited about, it is about branding. It is about imagery. It is about kind of this nationalism. The fact that they're going to...
There it is again. He's saying it's about nationalism. What does this have to do about nationalism? Actually, it has everything to do with nationalism. They want you to believe that nationalism is a bad thing. Nationalism simply means that you put your country first. I don't have a problem telling people that I'm a Christian nationalist. I put Christ before everything. I really do. And there's nothing wrong with it. See, these Democrats, they don't put our country first. They put everything else first. America is last when it comes to these Democrats. Everything is last when it comes to them.
Branding, it is about imagery, it is about kind of this nationalism. The fact that they're going to consider, or probably, I guess now, really have this military parade. We don't need a military parade. We don't need to spend millions or maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to do that. But we want to do it because he has to feed his inner image monster.
He said it himself. He wants, Are you guys against the military movie maker?
Love the military. $100 million I don't think it's called. You cannot be cutting tens of thousands of federal workers at the same time you say we're going to waste money on a military parade.
Why is it wasteful?
It is wasteful.
Why?
It is what do we need to show off our military for? But that's strongmen do that. It has nothing to do with pride in the military. Strongmen do that because they want to make their citizens cower. They want to say, we are strong.
That's not it at all. That's not it at all. I'm telling you right now, President Trump, he does this parade. This is going to get more people to want to join the military. And President Trump, he hasn't said that out loud. He doesn't have to. I'm saying it for him. It's going to cause people, it's going to want people to join the military when they see how mighty our military is. And this is what they don't want. They don't want the American spirit to be flourishing. They don't want people to respect America. They don't want people to love this country. And listen to them, they're making up stuff. How do they know how President Trump feels about this? How do they know? They constantly say, President Trump is doing this for his ego. He's doing this because he wants people to look at him a certain way. He's the president of the United States of America. He can do it regardless of what his reasonings are. But I'm telling you right now, President Trump does this parade, more people are going to join the military. Since President Trump has taken office, there has been an uptick of military personnel joining than any other time. And of course, they don't like that. And he does this parade, it's going to go through the roof.
I am here. I have all these weapons. Aren't you proud of me? We don't need to do that. We know that our military is multiples the size of anybody else's military on the planet. We don't need them to bring the missiles down Pennsylvania Avenue in order for us to know that.
It's not about the size. In the last 4 years, morale in the military was down, recruitment was down. There is a concerted effort going on right now at the Pentagon, and it's already successful to enhance recruitment and to enhance pride and the idea of joining the military. I think you all are discounting the idea that a national parade for our military to show off our military, to show pride in the veterans that have defended this country, and you all are mad about
the veterans. He was just trying to rename Veterans Day.
I'm super proud of our military, but I don't think we should waste money. I think that the worst thing for morale that I've seen is Pete Hegseth as the defense secretary.
That's the worst thing you've seen?
For morale?
The literal worst thing you've seen?
I think pretty much. I mean, it's embarrassing. If you want to embarrass people.
Talk to a rank and file military person. They'll tell you the wet blanket is off.
There it is. Every single time. Oh, Pete Hegseth. They run to Pete Hegseth like, oh my goodness, this is really embarrassing. Really embarrassing. Really? What's embarrassing about it? I mean, what is embarrassing about it? See, they're trying to say Pete Hegseth is embarrassing because of Signalgate when there was actually nothing there. And just like everything else, the Democrats make up stuff as they go along. Let me give you an example of that. President Trump, he took questions yesterday about the Pope Trump picture. Did y'all see it? I talked about it a little bit yesterday. So he took questions, unlike, Joe Biden, he would have never taken any questions. But President Trump took questions, and of course, the reporter just making stuff up. Everybody knows it was a joke. Everybody knows it's just a meme, an AI meme. And just like with Pete Hegseth, the Democrats want something to be there that's not there. So what do? They lie and they make up stories.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. Some Catholics were not so happy about the image of you looking like the Pope.
Oh, I see. You mean they can't take a joke? You don't mean the Catholics. You mean the fake news media. Not the Catholics loved it. I had nothing to do with it. Somebody made up a picture of me dressed like the Pope, and they put it out on the internet. That's not me that did it. I have no idea where it came from. Maybe it was AI, but I know nothing about it. I just saw it last evening. Actually, my wife thought it was cute. She said, "Isn't that nice?"
My question about
Actually, I would not be able to be married, though. That would be a lot. I'd have to the best of my knowledge, popes aren't big on getting married, are they? Not that we know of. No. I think it's the fake news media that, they're fakers.
My question, though, sir, was about the fact that it was put out on the White House account, even though it was AI generated, it was a joke, it was a meme. Does it at all diminish the substance of the official White House account to have it go out on that particular channel?
Give me a break. It was just somebody did it in fun. It's fine.
You know what? Democrats don't have a sense of humor. Democrats don't know when a joke is a joke. This is the very reason right now you have Democrats screaming, saying that we need to ban memes. And memes is a form of free speech. And I'm in the state of Texas, and it actually happening here, or they're trying to do it here, saying that if you put a meme out, a political meme, without a disclaimer, then you could actually do prison time for a meme in the United States of America. That is 100% free speech. If I create a meme based on whatever it is that I want to create it on, and I put it on social media, that is my free speech. But the Democrats, they love to try to stretch it. The Democrats, they love to try to see how much they can pull away from your free speech. They do it every single time. Every single time. Well, let me play this one for you. Here's Stephen A. And see, the Democrats, they're losing everything. The Democrats, again, like I mentioned, they don't have anything to stand on. They don't have no platform. The only thing that the Democrats do is push back. They push back. They go up on Capitol Hill, and all they want to do is say no to everything that President Trump is doing. No, 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 no. There's this donkey. I would play it for you, but I can't play it for you here because there's this donkey. And he's talking about Kevin, was it Kevin, what's his name? Kevin Pacey? Bacon. I don't know why I keep saying Pacey. Kevin Bacon was on the top cover. He was on the front cover of, was it the Time magazine? And the guy's on the couch talking to this donkey, and the donkey just going, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He's arguing with him. He's, yeah, he was. But anyways, just like everything else, these Democrats just reject everything that President Trump is doing. That's their only goal in life. They're not trying to do anything that's going to benefit the American people. And what I've noticed is that throughout all of the years, I can't tell you anything that the Democrats have done that benefited the American people as a whole. Now, a certain group of people, yeah, they're all about that. But as a whole, I can't tell you anything.
When I'm abhorring or lamenting the state of affairs within the Democratic Party, I'm basically talking about what they were focusing on. They may be doing things on the state and local level and may deserve an abundance of credit for it, but that's not the message that we were receiving. And you know why we weren't receiving that message? Because they didn't think they could sell it to us. They didn't think that that would be good enough. They wanted to make sure, oh, we're going to point to racism. We're going to guilt you into voting for us. We're not going to talk about the things that we're doing positively. We're going to talk about what the other side is doing negatively to engage in fear mongering to help you through fear factor go our way instead of theirs. And it didn't work this time. And to be quite honest with you, even though I might not like some of the things I'm seeing from the Trump administration thus far, the bottom line is I'm glad it didn't work, because I think for the longest time, Black Americans have played the role of suckers to the Democratic Party. They've guilted us into voting for them, making us feel as if we're going to be ostracized, creating division within our own communities or what have you to get our vote, instead of saying to us, hey, this is what we will do for you, and it will work better than what they're offering.
Shannon, what is it that I always say about Stephen A? I say the same thing about Bill Maher. I say the same thing about these other liberals, even Chris Cuomo. Even Chris Cuomo. I'll say it about him every now and then. It's like this light bulb comes on and he's speaking truth, and then the light bulb just dims right back out and it goes right back to the same nonsense.
Yeah.
What is this?
I mean, he's literally admitting that he's talking to athletes and all these people and saying how the Democrat Party has not done anything for them so far. And so why not take a chance on Trump? And how does he not see that it's the Democrat Party that they're talking about? They're not, listen, so many people, so many Black people have gotten disgusted with the Democrat Party. And he's talking about, well, yeah, there's individuals doing stuff somewhere that are great and we're not acknowledging it. Really, what great things are they doing? It's not in the States. Look at California. Look at Minnesota. Look at Michigan. You have all these states are actually ruining the Democrat Party.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the whole objective, right? You know, I don't know. I don't know if they're actually ruining the Democrat Party. Then again, maybe they are. But I think ultimately what they're doing is they're exposing what the Democrat Party is truly about. I think that's what it really comes down to. Personally, I think that's what it comes down to. Because there's so many people that are leaving the Democrat Party, and these predominant Democrats, they're just doubling down on it. That's what I don't understand. They can't even put it to the side and lie to people to get what they want. They're not even doing that. I mean, what you just brought up in California, I mean, the way they're targeting children in California is just unbelievable. I mean, it really is. The way they're targeting children in California. It's disgusting to no end. And they're still pushing through with it. They're still pushing it. And it's not just the state of California, it's other locations. New York, Detroit, Miami, it's in Dallas, it's in red states, blue cities. Every location that is painted blue, they're doing something that is completely wicked. Completely wicked. And that's why I brought up the whole fact of how the Democrat Party, they are the party of Satan. And I know there's a lot of people that don't like that. I mean, I have family members that call themselves Democrats. And they won't even talk to me any longer because they don't want to hear anything that I have to say. Because especially when they know what they're supporting is wrong, they just don't like it. I'm wondering. I have family members that are in the military and they don't like President Trump. I'm kind of curious on what do they think about this whole parade with President Trump. I would like to ask them, but they stopped talking to me. You know, talking about Black people, Shannon, there's this young lady. She's a Black woman. And I love this expression. I never thought about it. She says, I was born Black, not Democrat.
Oh.
She said, I was born Black, but I wasn't born Democrat.
Wow.
And that's such a powerful statement.
That's
because
true.
A lot of people look at Black people in this country and we just automatically think that you are a Democrat. Why is that? Because Democrats have been very conniving and very slick in controlling the Black community. Been very good at it.
When I first announced my run for Congress, I had this random white woman, liberal, walk up to me and ask, well, what about you isn't Democrat? To which I responded, well, besides my skin color, what about me is Democrat? And it was at that very moment that she realized that God gave her enough common sense to ask me about my values. Now, don't get me wrong, I was raised to vote Democrat down the ballot. So when I first started, I would say things like, I'm a Republican, but I'm not a conservative. But now I know all too well I am a full-fledged, hardcore conservative, and I'm proud of it. I mean, my favorite saying is I was born Black, not Democrat. But in all seriousness, whenever I began to think for myself politically, the choice was easy. I mean, why would I want to belong to a party whose mission is to infringe on the Second Amendment as if a criminal would ever participate in something like a mandatory buyback? Why would I want to belong to and endorse a godless party? Because there is no such thing. And I mean, no such thing as a trans child. We have confused children and sick enabling adults. Why would I want to belong to a party that takes pride in shedding innocent blood? Number one, as if that's not what God hates. Number two, as if there's not a black market for baby organs. And number three, as if abortion clinics didn't start in the hood. Because if you think Trump is bad, you should research exactly who Margaret Sanger was. But speaking of the Black community, why would I want to belong to a party who's responsible for the foundation of the Triple K? But it's not just that. Supposedly in the 1900s, the party switched, right? But what never changed, what I noticed never changed, is Democrats' love for immigration and how they have always prioritized that over the Black community. I mean, imagine every single Democrat leader helping you joke about what a Black job is in 2024, exposing your ignorance on 1924 and how imperative the Immigration Act of that year was, how it was all reversed in 1965 with the Hart-Celler Act, how Congress refuses the advice of the Rockefeller Commission and the Hesburgh Commission, and how to this day they refuse to adopt the Barbara Jordan Blueprint, validating every single thing that Dr. Claude Anderson spoke of generally, but specifically what Mrs. King spoke of in 1991 with her letter to Congress. Now, look, I'm not saying that the Republican Party is perfect. No, nobody's perfect. What I'm saying is I saw with Malcolm X when he said that the liberals were the worst thing that could ever happen to the Western Hemisphere, but y'all ignore that, just like how y'all ignore LBJ saying, and I quote, "I'm going to have Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years, and by God, 60 years later, I see no sign of recourse, but rest assured your vote is your voice, even if it is a whisper."
Even if it is a whisper. Everything she said was factual. I mean, she dropped the mic on it. And not a single Democrat will receive anything she just said. None of them. They were all just disregarded. She doesn't know what she's talking about. There was never a switch between the parties. Never a switch. And she's right. And I've said it multiple times too. The Republican Party, they're not angels. They're not perfect by any means. They're not. But when compared to the Democrat Party, I mean, and I constantly ask this question, and I've asked it so many times. And the only reason why I keep asking this question, because it keeps coming back up about the Democrat Party. There's not a single thing that they don't support when it comes to Satan. They support everything of Satan. I mean, everything. There's not a single thing that they do not support when it comes to Satan. They're all about whatever Satan has planned for this earth. The Democrats are all about it. And they're not even shy or bashful about trying to show it. They embrace Lucifer. They really do. They really do. And I've spoke about it so many times. And a lot of people, they're seeing it now too. I'm also starting to see other people that I've never even had a conversation with refer to the Democrat Party as Democrats. I'm hearing other people say that because now people are like, this kind of fitting. The Democrat Party. The Democrat Party. When I went out to the Tesla event this past weekend and I was just referred to them as the Democrat Party, they don't like to hear that. And one lady came up to me, she said, do I look like a demon to you? I said, you don't look like a demon, but that demonic spirit inside of you is a demon. Because that demonic spirit that resides in you right now is pushing for all of this insanity, pushing for this stuff, what they're doing to children, pushing this stuff. I mean, you're wanting to shut down a business, a company that is hiring people so they can put food on the table. And this business, this location, because it says Tesla on the building, has nothing to do with anything other than the name on there. I would go on a limb and say that Elon Musk has probably never even set foot in this location. He's probably never set foot. I'm telling you right now, I can't imagine that Elon Musk has made, maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. I haven't seen it. But I can only imagine that all of these Tesla dealerships and facilities throughout the country that Elon Musk has not set foot in them. But the Democrats, they don't care. It just says Tesla. They want to shut it down. They want people to lose jobs. They don't want people to have jobs, but they're all about illegals coming in the country and getting them jobs. Jobs that the liberals don't want to do. Well, who's going to pick our crops? Who's going to clean our homes? Who's going to do the jobs that we don't want to do? Same thing they said right after they lost their slaves. Same thing they said. Who's going to pick our crops? Who's going to do the jobs we don't want to do? Who's going to clean our homes? Same thing they said then. UniteAmericaFirst.com, UniteAmericaFirst.com. Please go to my website, support me. I need your help. I need your assistance. Please go to my website, UniteAmericaFirst.com. Sign up for the free newsletter. And if you go to UniteAmericaFirst.com/donate, you can support me there monthly or one-time subscription right there. One time, you know the deals right there. Or my physical address is right there at the bottom as well. And people have sent me letters and blessings through the mail, and I have kept every single one of them. Every single one of them. I have them in a binder, a big, beautiful binder. I need to get a second one. I've received so many. So UniteAmericaFirst.com/donate. Please help me, support me. I need your help. And I'm asking for God's people to help me. All right, everybody. That is it for me. God bless you. Take care. I should be on time tomorrow. Like I said, I was doing stuff at my local church, the church that I'm attending. So I should be on time tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. God bless everyone. See you tomorrow.